Peace and life, family. I hope that you are well and happy and whole and all that good stuff. And I really hope that you just feeling yourself. I feel like we all deserve just to be feeling ourselves a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that you're feeling yourself right now. And if you ain't feeling yourself, I hope you start feeling yourself. But cue Beyonce, cue Nicki, feeling myself, feeling myself. But truly, I wish you well, family. This video is all about mentorship, right? All about mentorship. I truly believe what Dr. Maya Angelou said, the beautiful, amazing Mama Angelou, Mama Maya, as I like to call her. She had a quote where she said, "Nobody but nobody can make it out here alone." If you are a Poetic Justice fan, you might remember that line from Poetic Justice. That was a Maya Angelou line. Nobody but nobody can make it out here alone. We all need guidance. We all need mentorship. And I always advise people to study people who are successful in the areas that you desire to be successful in. I often compare it to baking a cake, right? I always say, we know we don't have to figure out how to make a cake. We don't have to figure out what's in the cake no more. There are recipes for a reason. And if you're choosing to try to figure out how to bake the cake without a recipe, that is up to you. That is your time to waste. That is time consuming. There are blueprints for a reason. There are recipes for a reason. And the recipe to success is authored by someone who has already been successful in the areas that you are desiring to be successful in. And that person is your mentor. They are your teacher, so how do you find a good recipe? How do you find a good mentor? My intention for this video is to, give some of my personal tips on how I found some of the most amazing mentors in my life. I've been blessed to have many and still have many mentors all throughout the world, from when I was young until now, and continuing to add more to my life because I am forever a student. Therefore, I'm forever open to be taught. So I'm blessed with many teachers and mentors and things like that. So these are just my tips on how I've cultivated my tribe. And a part of my tribe are elders, mentors, teachers, guides that I have been blessed with. And this is how I have attracted them to me. This is what I look for in a mentor. Let's get into it. So when looking for mentorship, the first place I started was with myself. I realized that, I wanted guidance. I wanted help along my journey. I realized immediately that I didn't have to do this on my own. And if I tried to do it on my own, I would not make it far. Again, we don't have to try to figure out how to bake the cake anymore. There are recipes, there are blueprints, there are elders who have paved the way, there are ancestors who have paved the way, and through ancestor veneration, we can connect with our ancestors. But we have to do the work to connect with our elders who are still here and present, and be willing to be students and ask for guidance. So the first thing I had to do was go within and humble myself. I had to be willing to recognize what it is I needed in a mentor and be willing to ask people to be my mentor, be willing to do the work to go out and seek mentors. A part of humbling myself was doing away with the phrase or the motto, "I am self-taught." I always tell people that is a huge red flag for a mentor. When someone is seeking mentorship, but then out the other side of their mouth, they holler, "I am self-taught," that is a sign that you do not recognize your teachers, because I promise you, no one on this planet is self-taught. No one is self-taught. If you ever read a book about it, that author is your teacher. If you watched a YouTube video about it, that YouTube creator is your teacher. If you ever Googled something, whoever wrote that Google article, that Google whatever, that is your teacher. No one is self-taught. No one. So the first thing you want to do is humble yourself. Recognize that you need to be taught. Recognize that you desire to be taught, and acknowledge the teachers who have already taught you. That is all a part of humbling yourself. That is all a part of releasing control. Releasing the idea or the desire that you have done it on your own, or that you have to do it on your own. Again, Mama Maya Angelou, nobody but nobody can make it out here alone, and none of us have made it out here alone. All of us have had some sort of help. The question is, are you acknowledging that? Are you recognizing that? Our universe, our life, our reality manifests according to what we speak and the energy that we put out. So if you put out an energy that you've done it on your own, or that you're doing it on your own, that is the energy that you will attract and vibrate on. You have to start recognizing and acknowledging your teachers, even if you've never met them in person. Again, that author of that book is your teacher. Whoever created that TikTok video that taught you something for that moment was your teacher. That YouTube creator is your teacher. That the person who wrote the Google article is your teacher. So release and relinquish that control, release and relinquish that hyper independence and that isolation. You are not alone. If you are seeking mentorship, you have to be aware and be honest and be open about the fact that you are not alone out here. You have a tribe and you have been guided. So to continue to be guided, you have to recognize that you have been guided. So acknowledge your teachers, acknowledge your desire to be taught. You want to be taught, you want to learn, you want to study, you want to be a student. Humble yourself, and then you will begin to attract the guidance that you are seeking. You will attract mentorship. The next thing you have to ask yourself is, what type of mentor are you looking for? There are two, and for me, there are two overarching types of mentors. Are you looking for a mentor, or are you looking for a brain? Are you looking for someone to think for you? And a lot of people have yet to distinguish the difference between the two. So I'll give you an example of my idea of the difference between a mentor and a brain. When you are looking for a mentor is a guide. A mentor is someone who is going to share resources and share methods of how to discover. They almost send you on like a scavenger hunt, because the key with the mentor is they're not trying to live your life for you. What they are trying to do is help you understand and figure out life. Their intention is to give you the recipe, but they're not baking the cake for you. They're not standing over your shoulder and saying a little less flour, a little more this, pack that flour tight. They're giving you the recipe. They're giving you the resource. They're giving you the guide. And it's up to you to read the recipe. It's up to you to try it and fail and repeat and try it and add your own little spin to it. So that is what a mentor does. A mentor is a person who will give you resources. They'll give you books. They'll give you articles. They'll give you, bits of information and lessons and stories that you have to find and extract the lesson out of. They may, after a while, once you show yourself approved and you show that you are willing to put in the work by, utilizing the resources they give you, by reading the books and reading the articles and listening to the stories and discussing the lessons that you extracted from the stories. That's all a part of doing the work. So once you show them that you are willing to do the work, they may then move to the next step of plugging you into opportunities and plugging you into their resources and their connects and, kind of networking for you. Those are things that a mentor will do. And a mentor is usually there when they feel you need them. They may not always pick up the phone every time. They're not going to always tell you the answer to every question. Again, they're like a guide. They're here to say, go make a left and read that sign, and it's going to tell you the rest of the way. And that make a left could be, here, take this book and it's going to tell you what you need to know. Here, take this article and it's going to tell you what you need to know. Here, try this principle, start practicing this and see how it changes your life and helps you attract what you want. So that's what a mentor will do. That's a mentor. Are you looking for a mentor or a brain? A lot of people are not looking for mentorship. They're not looking for guidance. And I know that because they're not willing to do the work. You could give them the book. You could give them the article. You could give them the principles. You give them the altar work. You give them whatever, and they're not going to do it. You check in with them and say, hey, have you read this? Hey, have you done this? And it's always, no, I haven't. And it's an excuse or a reason why. You're not looking necessarily for mentorship. Many people are looking for a brain. They're looking for someone to think for them and to live for them and to do the work for them. They just want the end result, and they don't want the work that's involved with the result, or to get the result. They're not looking for the resources and the opportunity to do the work. They're not looking for the opportunity to show themselves approved and improved. What they're looking for is someone to live their life for them. They want someone who's going to do the altar work for them, someone who's going to intercede on their behalf, someone who is always going to think for them and tell them the solution to every single problem. That's what they're looking for. So you really have to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, am I looking for a mentor or am I looking for a brain? Sometimes you may realize that you already have a group of mentors in your life, but you just have not been categorizing them as that, and you may not have been acknowledging them and appreciating them in that way. You may already have people who are sharing resources and sharing information and connecting you to certain resources and certain things and networking for you. You may already have people in your life who are like that, but you just don't see them that way because they're not giving you the solution to every problem. So again, are you looking for a mentor or are you looking for a brain? Now, if you're looking for a brain, you can go hire a life coach who will likely, and most life coaches don't even do that, but a life coach will tell you what to do. You can go to different resources, your parents or whoever, who will just tell you what to do if you're looking for that. But if you are truly looking to grow and you're truly looking to find yourself on your spiritual journey or whatever journey you're on, find yourself on your path to success and really kind of tread the path that is meant for you, you want a mentor. You want someone who is going to lead you to resources that will help you find and do what's best for you. They can tell you what book to read. The lesson you extract from the book may be a little different from them because the lesson that you extract is for you. You see what I'm saying? So the point is, a mentor, they are helping you guide you down your journey. They're helping you guide you down your journey. A mentor is there as just like a cheerleader. They're there as a guide. They're there to say, again, turn left, read this book, read this article, listen to this podcast, try this principle, start practicing this, start doing that, and see how you feel. And let's come back and discuss it. They may ask you some guiding questions to help you draw a conclusion or to help you extract the lesson that's meant for you. That's a mentor. And that's the beauty of a mentor. They're not trying to make you live life how they live life. They're not trying to get you to get the lesson that they got. They're helping you figure out you. That is a mentor. So do you want a mentor or do you want a brain? And again, the key difference between the two is a mentor, you have to be willing to do the work. A brain, they just gonna do it for you. And I'll just give you a little personal example of the difference. I was talking to my guru in Bali and he was just asking me a simple question. So what's been going on with you? And I told him everything that's been happening and things that I'm doing and things I'm involved with and what I'm working on. And I just was like spilling everything that's going on. I was excited to talk to him. I hadn't talked to him in a couple months. So I'm like spilling everything that's going on. This is happening, that's happening. I'm doing this and this is where I am and this is how I'm feeling and this is what's going on physically, mentally, spiritually, yada, yada, yada. And he literally said, the oil on the spoon, the oil on the spoon. And I immediately got silent and went within and I extracted the oil on the spoon. And if you are not familiar, if you're in the wellness community, you better be familiar because the oil on the spoon is a lesson from a book. It was my first book recommendation in the wellness community, and it is the book that really shifted how I viewed the world and viewed manifestation. And that book is The Alchemist. The Alchemist is the first book that myself and my guru connected on. When I was in Bali, we were talking and he was sharing resources with me, and he was like, one of the resources, he was like, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, read that one. And I was like, I've read that. I read it 3 times. I have it with me. It's in my suitcase, yada, yada, yada. And we just started like having a 2-hour plus, almost 3-hour conversation about The Alchemist. So he knew that I had done the work and I read the book over and over and over. And he knew that I understood the lesson of the oil on the spoon, which is the very first lesson that's taught in the book. That's like the intro story, And he, so when I'm spilling everything that's going on in my life, all he said was the oil on the spoon. And if you know the lesson of the oil on the spoon or the point of that story, put it in the comments. Let me see if you are an alchemist connoisseur, the Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And see, that is a mentor. A mentor knows that you've done the work. They know that you have access to the resource. They know that you have utilized the resource. You read the book. You've extracted the lesson. And he just needed to remind me to practice it. That is what a mentor does. Lessons that they know that you have extracted, because through conversation, they know that you have the resource, you utilize the resource, you did the work, you extracted the lesson. Now practice it. This is your moment. The oil on the spoon. And that's all he had to say. Now, had I not done the work, had I not read the book, he would have said the oil on the spoon. I would have had no idea what he was talking about. No idea. And I would have been like, what's that from? And he would have been like, well, you need to go read this book. And I would have had to start at step one, because that is what a mentor will do. A mentor is not always going to say, well, hey, in this book by this person that I told you to read years ago, and you never read it, there's a lesson in this book, and the lesson, the story is, and the lesson is, and this is how you need to practice it. No. A mentor is, they know that they gave you the resource. They know that you utilized the resource. You've done the work. You extracted the lesson. Now it's time to practice. And all they have to say is the oil on the spoon, and boom, they know that you're going to do the work. So that is a good mentor. That is how a mentor works. They know that you have the ability to make good decisions and to do the right thing, and you are willing to do the work. And all they need to do is be a guide, be a reminder, be a cheerleader. They just need to be the person to say, read this, and then come back years later and say, the oil on the spoon. That is a good mentor. Now, the next tip with finding a good mentor is, don't be so focused on certifications and degrees. And I'm speaking as a person who has multiple certifications. I have multiple degrees. I have a bachelor's, I have a master's. And again, I have multiple certifications. I've done a lot of different courseworks and all that stuff in various classes. I've taken doula courses. I've done herbology courses. I've done botany courses. I've done multiple things within the holistic wellness space. I've done courses and studies as a shaman. I've done a lot of different things. So I have a lot of certifications and degrees and all that stuff. But honestly, that's not really important. The degrees and the paperwork is not really that important. I tell people in the wellness community, I said, listen, I founded the wellness community. If I wanted to, I could print off an award on my laptop right now and say, hey, you've completed 45 certification hours. You are now a certified shaman. Those awards and certificates don't really mean much, especially if it's not a part of like DONA or like a national certification. Those awards and certificates don't mean much. Anybody could print off a certificate or award. Again, if it's not a big part of like a big national organization or anything where you have to have CEUs, continuing education units or hours, if you haven't had to have a certain number of clients and stuff, those awards and certificates don't really mean anything. So don't be so focused on the awards and the degrees and certificates. What you need to focus on is how they utilize it, how they've utilized the information, how they've utilized the knowledge. So when you're looking for a mentor, don't look at the degrees on the wall. Look at the people that they've healed. Look at the results of their work. Who have you healed? Who have you helped? Let me see your other mentees. Let me see where they are now. If they are a YouTuber, check their comments for people who say like, hey, you've helped me so much. I've learned so much from you. If they are an author, go to the reviews of their book and see what the reviews of their books are. Whatever mechanisms are out there, whatever tools that they utilize to put their work out, go look at the reviews, go look at their lineage. Who have they helped? Who have they healed? I think about Dr. Sebi, and I know Dr. Sebi is very controversial, but the fact that he was able to, for whatever reason, he was able to fill up a courtroom of people saying, I was involved with this man and had positive reviews. The fact that he was able to fill up a courtroom with positive reviews, that's what's important. So again, don't be so focused on the degrees and the certificates and all that stuff. Trust me, as someone who has the wellness community, I have the Consultation Collective where, I have a collective of consultants who work with clients through the wellness community, and I seek out these consultants myself, and I look at their work, I look at their results, I look at their efforts before I allow them or give space for them to be a part of the Consultation Collective. A lot of times, I cannot tell you how many people I've like reached out to, like, hey, I saw that you do this or do that. Who can I see some of your clients or some of your reviews, or do you have any testimonials? And they have nothing. They have nothing. Doulas who ain't assisted in any births. Readers who I'm like, well, can you send me some reviews from some long-term clients? They have no long-term clients, no clients that they've been working with for 2, 3, or even a year, they have shown results and given positive reviews, things like that. So you really want to pay attention to, again, who have you healed? What's the results of this knowledge and this information that you have? When you're looking for a mentor, you want a mentor that can produce and that has produced, and that has connections that span over time, positive reviews that span over time. So that's my advice. Again, compare it to baking a cake. You don't want a cake recipe where people are like, nah, this ain't work. This cake was nasty. This cake was dry. You want the recipe with the reviews that's like, people, this cake hit. This cake was delicious. This cake was fire. You know what I'm saying? That's the cake recipe you want to follow. It was moist. It was decadent. All that stuff. That's the cake recipe you want to follow. You know what I'm saying? So again, when you're looking for a mentor, look at their lineage, look at their reviews. The degrees and certificates are nice. They're cute. But a lot of times, people just sitting on a laptop or sitting in the classroom and they ain't really practicing that work. So look for people who practice that work, people who have healed folks and put in, put their knowledge to use in a positive way, not just for themselves, but for others. What have they manifested and what have they helped other people manifest in life? You don't want to go to a doctor who they got 1,000 patients they done killed. You want to go to a doctor who done healed folks. You know what I'm saying? They got 1,000 patients that they done healed, or at least help get on a healing journey. So again, look at their lineage, look at their results, not the certificates, not the degrees, which those are nice too, but who have they healed? That's how you know who's really putting in that work and who's really qualified to be a good mentor or guide. The next tip is don't be afraid to reach out to people. Don't be afraid to email the authors of those good books. Don't be afraid to, Google them and see what they have going on. They might have an event. Go to the event, ask them questions, meet them in person. Some of those YouTubers who may be having events and things like that. And granted, you will get a lot of either no's or no responses, especially to emails. I've emailed a lot of authors who never respond, and a lot of creators and things who never respond, and that's okay. People are busy. I know I myself, I don't have time to respond to every single email. I get hundreds a day. So between emails and DMs, I get hundreds a day, so I don't have time to respond to all of them. And a lot of authors and creators and, a lot of people who are in mentorship position, they don't have time to respond to every email. So you may not always get a response, but it's worth a shot. Shoot your shot. That's the tip. The tip is to shoot your shot. Don't be afraid to reach out to people and to ask for mentorship. That goes back to humbling yourself. You have to, desire to be taught and show that you are asking to be taught and that you are worthy to be taught, that you are willing to do the work. So don't be afraid to email people and say, hey, I watched your video, or hey, I read your book and this is what I learned from it, and this is what the lessons I extracted. Thank you for putting in the work and for producing this work and putting it out there. I really received a lot of positive energy from it, yada yada yada, and this is where I am on my journey, and I do have a couple questions. I wanted to know, don't immediately just be like, can we meet in person? That's weird, but don't be afraid to ask a couple questions and build relationship. You know what I'm saying? Give gratitude for the work that they produce first. Tell them what you've learned from it and what you extracted from it, and then ask your question. I cannot tell you how many times I get emails from people and it's like, hey, queen, and they start spilling their life story and asking me 50 questions. You know what I'm saying? I get a lot of those every day. Please don't start an email like that. Let them know that, I watch your work. Give gratitude, thank them for what they do, because they've already given you a lot by writing the book. Trust me, they've given you a lot by writing the book, by posting the video, recording the video, editing the videos, by, putting up the TikTok or whatever it is that however you connected with them. They already put in a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? So show gratitude for what they've already given you and taught you. And then, you can start to share your journey and ask a question, but build a relationship. If they have an event, go to the event. That's how I met Yaya Tish, the author of Jambalaya. Yaya Louisa Tish, she is amazing, and she is a dope storyteller and mentor and teacher. And I read her book and was blessed to go to New Orleans, and my sister queen, a sister queen of mine, took me to an event, and I had to pay to get in the event both days, and I paid to get in the event, and I connected with her and had a conversation and built relationships. So that's what you can do. Just don't be afraid to reach out to people and build relationship, with people, and ask questions. So reach out to some of those creators and some of those authors who you love so dearly and who have taught you so much, and thank them, and then ask questions and ask guidance. And again, you don't always have to say, hey, can you be my mentor? If someone is teaching you, if someone is guiding you, they're already your mentor. So you don't have to necessarily say like, hey, can you be my mentor? You can ask questions and ask exactly what you're desiring to seek from the mentor, as opposed to just asking, can you be my mentor? Sometimes asking, can you be my mentor, is like asking, if you are in ATR, part of African traditional religion, it's like asking, can you be my godparent? It doesn't quite work that way. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't quite work that way. So just start asking questions and asking for further guidance, and that means that they are a mentor of yours in a sense. Someone who is guiding you and teaching you is a part of your mentorship community. Okay, so yeah, don't be afraid to reach out and contact and be vulnerable and ask for the help and the guidance that you are desiring. And the last tip is beware of scammers. Please beware of the scammers. There are 3 keys to knowing if someone is a scammer, and knowing whether or not you should stay away from the person. Number 1, nobody should be in your DM. I told you to reach out to them. If anybody is in your DM and they're saying, oh, I felt your energy, I felt connected with you, that's a scammer. They should not be in your DM. They should not be reaching out to you. That is a scammer. Never respond to those. They are not real readers. They're not real babalawos, ialawos, whatever. They're not real. Never ever respond to those. No one should be in your DM. That's a key red flag. It's a scammer. The second key is never, ever, ever pay someone before receiving the service. And this is a controversial red flag, because there are some readers and some mentors and some guides or whatever that'll be like, no, you got to pay me first. I personally agree to disagree. I disagree with that. I told the wellness community, and I will share with y'all publicly, I treat it like the doctor. I treat it like the doctor. And I'm speaking as someone who gives services. I treat it like the doctor. When I go to the doctor, I make my appointment, I show up, I receive services, and then they bill my insurance for all the services they gave me, right? So if I had to get blood work, they bill my insurance they do the blood work, they bill my insurance for the blood work. If I had to get an EKG, they do the EKG, bill my insurance. So I go to the doctor, and then they bill my insurance for all the services they give me. It's the same way for a reader or a mentor, a consultant, or whoever, Usually you're billed after services are rendered. So don't go around just dishing out money. Be very leery of people who are asking for money before any service. And honestly, I was going to say a good mentor, but mentors ain't really charging you. When someone has an energy connection with you and they're your personal mentor, they're not necessarily charging you to ask them a question always, especially if it's not in excess, if you ain't like a bugaboo, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not always charging you for every second of time you take up. Sometimes there may be like a small fee if you want a service like a reading or something like that. Of course, there's a fee. And of course, the biggest red flag is be mindful of people who you cannot confirm their identity. You know what I'm saying? Like, be very leery and, stay away from people who you cannot confirm their identity. I know via DMs and things like that and email, it can be difficult. But, in this day and age, and especially for younger mentors like myself who are aware of how social social media work and all the scammers and stuff like that, normally I will send a voice note. I will respond in a voice note to people. So shout out to anybody who's ever DM'd me and stuff and you've gotten a voice note in return. But I would usually send a voice note just so that you know this is me and this is my real page. I'm usually not just like giving out advice via written email and written information, unless you are in the wellness community and we are in the group chat, and in that case you know it's me in the group chat, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but if you're like DMing me for the first time or emailing me for the first time, usually if it's DM, definitely I'll usually respond in a voice note or something like that. But just be very, very leery of people who you can't confirm their identity, because there are a lot of scammers out here who are creating fake pages and doing things like that to solicit money from people. So again, never give money before services are rendered, and never ever, pay someone or receive guidance from someone who you can't truly confirm their identity. You can't confirm that this is the actual author of that book or creator or whatever that is responding to you or emailing you or whatever. Usually try your best to find ways to confirm their identity. And usually if you send a voice note, you may get a voice note back or something like that. But yeah, try to confirm their identity. Don't just be out here taking information and readings and stuff like that from anybody who you don't really know that it's them for sure. The last and final tip, family, is to find the mentor that is right for you. You have to really know yourself to know the type of mentor that is perfect for you. I know I am a very blunt and direct mentor. I was telling the wellness community during our Zoom meeting, I was like, y'all know I keep it real blunt and direct, and I'm the person that's gonna be like, girl, what is you talking? Now, good and hell, I'm that person. Like, I'm the person, this relationship ain't gonna work, sis. What is you doing? Like, spirit has already showed you, they done tell you ain't paying attention to the omens, girl. Okay, you done defied spirit and now you got problems. So I'm that mentor. I'm the person who's going to be very blunt and very direct and be very honest. And a lot of people are like, girl, you are the voice in my head. Like, a lot of my mentees say that, like, you are the voice in my head. When I'm thinking about what I should do, I feel like I hear your voice in the background, because I am that blunt and that direct. I'm like your conscience. That's like, if you don't go home, that is me. Very mama-like, very auntie-like, that is me. And that's just how I communicate with everybody, but you may need a mentor who's a little more gentle, and not in a negative way, but just like a little more coddling. And in the wellness community, we have a sister who is like that, a sister queen who's like that. If you was in the last Zoom meeting, I told y'all about my sister Queen, who's a part of the Consultation Collective, and she is, more gentle in her approach, and she, is more kind and more sweet and more delicate with her clients and with her mentees. So, know yourself, know who you are, know where you are in your journey, and know how you like to receive information and receive guidance and receive criticism, because a part of, having a good mentor is having someone who's going to tell you about your stuff. You know what I'm saying? So how do you receive criticism best? Do you like a gentle approach, a more like loving and almost coddling approach, or do you like a direct, blunt approach? Do you need somebody who's going to, be soft and delicate with you? Do you need it's like an egg? Do you want it over easy, over medium, or over hard? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you got to know yourself and how you like to receive your information. You be open to mentors. If you know you're a person who doesn't like to read, you may not want to, have an author as a mentor, because they are a person who loves writing and they're going to always advise books and things like that. You may want to reach out to the person who created the documentary that you loved, the person who directed the documentary or the film that you love, the producer. So those may be people you want to reach out to, the YouTube content creator who creates videos and talks and things like that, so they'll recommend like podcasts. Reach out to the podcaster, so know how you like to receive information and reach out to people who specialize in the way that you like to receive information. Again, if you're not a reader, you may not want to reach out to the authors, you know what I'm saying, if you're not a person who likes to read. So yeah, know how you like to receive mentorship and guidance, and that will help you better understand where you should be looking for a mentor. Overall, family, I hope this video helps you. I hope that you find the mentor and the guide that is right for you. Again, beware of the scammers. Know yourself. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Acknowledge and honor, pay homage to your teachers who have already taught you and the mentors you've already had. And that is how you open up yourself to more mentorship and more guidance. Know exactly how you like to be guided. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. Be vulnerable vulnerable, be open, be honest, be aware of your own personal needs, and be willing to do the work, to reach the goal, But again, Mama Maya Angelou said, nobody but nobody can make it out here alone. And you don't have to make it out here alone. You are capable of being guided and being loved on and having a community and having a tribe and having elders. Just be open and show yourself prepared to receive that, and you shall receive it. Much love, much light, and I'll see y'all soon, family. Peace.